Babe, if you recently went through a loss, could be a breakup, a divorce, maybe a financial loss, we're going to help you with your glow up and totally reinvent your life.
And I went through a loss in 2019 from an engagement, and the same year you lost your
Yeah.
ex-husband. So this information will be great. Tune in and take notes because we got you.
And for those lovely ladies that are new here, what's up? I'm Natasha.
And I'm Brian.
I was a former single mom with 4 kids, went through a whole bunch of trauma and loss. If you're interested in learning more about dating and relationships and feeling good in your body again, I'm talking your hormones, your nervous system, all that.
Click the subscribe button so you don't miss any of our videos and content.
Let's jump into it. And what really inspired this video is the ladies in our community, in our Feminine Energy Academy. So many of them come to us when they're going through a divorce. Maybe they've just lost somebody really close to them, or they've just gone through a whole bunch of turmoil all at once. They don't know they're up from down. That used to be me back in 2019. I was a widowed mom with 4 kids. I felt like life had hit me with a Mack truck. I did not know I was going to be living this amazing, glorious life that I get to live now. But let me tell you, I was super, super intentional on my healing and reinventing my life and not going into depression. So this is going to help you so, so much. And for those of you that don't know, Brian, my now husband, also went through a quote unquote failed engagement.
So I was in a relationship for about 4 years and we got engaged. But during 2019, we ended the engagement, really opened up my eyes to the healing that was needed and really had to be super intentional about the healing journey for me, which brought me to this point today where I'm now married and living my best life.
So point number 1 is I want you girls to get out of the mindset of you're starting over. You're starting from scratch. Now, we work with a lot of women that they're older, right? So they're in their 40s, 50s, 60s. Maybe you've just gotten out of a long-term relationship or a marriage even. You could be a single mom now. And I get it, where you feel like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe this is my life. Like, how is this where I'm at now? And oftentimes when you're going through a relationship breakup, there's also financial stuff that comes along with that. Even for me, when I was widowed, there's a whole bunch of financial chaos that came with that. So I get it. So it almost feels like you're getting double punched. And then I'm going to say triple punched, because for a lot of us, physically on top of it, you're super stressed out. So your hormones are stressed out, your nervous system is stressed out, you are frazzled in your emotions, all that. This is your starting point, okay? The number 1 point is you have to change your mindset. So the mindset shift is this. So instead of keep telling yourself and telling people now you're starting over again, I don't care if you're 75 and this is your 3rd divorce. Everything you've been through is actually propelling you forward to where you're supposed to be. This was just a stepping stone, babe. Okay, even, and I can say this, going through what was very much like a living nightmare, right? It was horrible being widowed with 4 little kids and thinking, oh my gosh, I have to raise these kids. Right. But one of my favorite scriptures is, where sin abounds, grace abounds more. Sin just means missing it. So it's not that necessarily you've done something wrong, babe, but there was something in your life that just didn't go the way you thought it was going to go. But the good thing about that is when you surrender to God, it's like, okay, God, this is way too big for me. But that means you can tap into a grace that you have never experienced in your life. And I promise you, I'm living proof of this. We both are. Our lives are way better than we could have ever imagined. And especially, we never could have seen this years ago.
As you were talking, it's really about changing our perspective on where we're at in our life.
Yes.
And when we change our perspective, it's so much clarity that comes as you move forward, because it's some things in your previous marriage, things in your previous relationships. Like me, myself, I was engaged, had a great relationship, but things just didn't work out. But it brought so much clarity as I got together with you, right? I was clear on what I wanted. I was really clear on boundaries and really being super intentional in making sure that the things that I was doing was really to shorten the timeline, so I wouldn't drag things out and wouldn't see things that maybe weren't going the way that I desired, or maybe not the right person. And then I would be able to get out of those situations. So It can bring so much clarity
Yes.
once we do our healing in our next relationship.
So good, babe. So the biggest thing I want you girls to catch is you are not starting over again, okay? Everything you've been through up to this point, like come here, hear me, this is for you. This is actually working in your favor.
Yes.
You don't need to know all the answers. You don't need to know why it's happened, even if it was something horrible that's happened to you. Baby girl, I promise. God's got you, we got you, and this is working in your favor.
Yes.
Just watch, okay? So that brings us to point number 2. You need to reinvent yourself, baby girl. You need to create a new vision for your life that excites you,
Yes.
that lights you
Yes.
up. Like, just look at your life now like a blank canvas. You literally can do whatever you want. And that's how I looked at it as well. It's like honor the past, but eyes forward. Okay, we don't want to stay stuck in the past. You're not going that way anymore. Okay, and it's going to keep you stuck. So instead of trying to overthink and figuring out why this happened, why me, how could this happen, or maybe you're still going through it right now, I want you to create a vision for your life and reinvent yourself
Yes.
to the point where you are so excited to get out of bed. You need something to get you out of bed. And if you don't have a new vision for your life, babe, you're going to be stuck in your past. I know for myself, my kids already lost their dad. They're not going to lose their mom. And I was so determined to have this happy glow up where I'm like, I'm going to reinvent myself.
Yes.
I'm going to be a happy, healthy mom for once in my life. And I get to fall in love again.
And that's so key, really, like giving yourself permission to reinvent yourself, because as you grow and as you get older and, relationships grow, but as you grow individually, you have different things that may get you excited,
Yes.
right? And
Yes.
giving yourself permission to tap into those things now that you're in this new place. And so many doors open up when you tap into that glow up.
Yes.
And right, so many
Literally.
doors, yes. And just not being afraid to say, this is who people saw me as, but this is who I am on the inside. Right? Bringing the inside out, because a lot of times we can stay in a place because we don't want to come across a certain type of way. When these changes happen, it's a great opportunity. And if we look at it as an opportunity instead of looking
Yes.
at it as something negative, it's an opportunity
Yep.
to be more of who you are, have that glow up, travel, do whatever your heart desires. And so many people, you attract so many different type of people as you just lean into it and just say, I'm going to be who I am in this day. You may have been someone else 10 years ago, but today you're going to be the fullness of who you are. And so many people are going to be attracted to it.
We are so attracted to people that love their life, babe. So just ask yourself, what would really excite me? What's a full body yes?
Yeah.
What's something I want to learn? What's something I want to give myself permission
Yes.
to lean into that maybe I wasn't doing before? Like exactly what you're saying, babe. Like this is an opportunity. This is your blessing in disguise. And especially when you invite God into it, beauty's from ashes, baby. Okay? Point number 3 is I want you to start love bombing your nervous system. So this is what's going to actually help you take those action steps that you need to take. Often what happens, I work with a ton of women that have gone through some sort of loss in their life. One of the biggest things that happen is they have a trauma freeze or they struggle with procrastination. Now, this was me for so long and I couldn't articulate it. And I thought I was just avoiding things. I was just procrastinating. A lot of women think that they're lazy. You're not lazy, babe. What happens is it's kind of like a trauma freeze where your nervous system has been traumatized, right? And it's not to say what you went through is big or small or whatever. It's very subjective, but there's something in your nervous system that doesn't feel safe. And so what will happen is it will cause you to procrastinate. It'll cause you to avoid the things that you know you want to do. Maybe you want to date again. Maybe you want to lose some weight. Maybe you want to start the new business or change your lifestyle. Maybe you want to move, but you find yourself procrastinating. Maybe you have a lot of clutter that has built up in your house or in your mind, your emotions. Typically, women that have a lot of clutter in their mind and their emotions also hold on to weight and have hormone issues. It's all related, babe, because you haven't let go of stuff. If you find yourself procrastinating a lot and avoiding, what's likely happening is your nervous system doesn't feel safe. It's been hurt. Like, let's be real. And if you're, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, that's years of your nervous system that's been wounded. And so if you haven't healed from any of those losses from the time you're a child, your nervous system doesn't have a very big window of tolerance to do anything new. So what it's going to do is it's going to keep procrastinating to keep you stuck, to
Yes.
keep you in the familiar zone because it doesn't want to be hurt again.
Mhm.
But the problem with that, babe, is that that's what's actually going to keep you stuck. That's what deteriorates your health, your hormones, your body, your mental health, your emotional health. And then you rob yourself of new
Mm.
opportunities. You rob yourself of falling in love again. You rob yourself of, inviting new income streams
Yes.
and moving to a different location and looking good. The remedy for that, babe, is you actually love bombing your nervous
Yes.
system. So that means radical self-love,
Mm.
radical self-acceptance, radical just self-care and compassion. There's a lot of shame that can come with going through losses, divorce, financial loss, and that's the number one thing that will dysregulate a woman's nervous system. Okay. And the remedy for that is just really loving on yourself through this healing journey. I promise you, babe, you are not always going to feel like this, but you have to be super, super intentional on getting yourself out of the situation. In other words, loving yourself through it, reinventing yourself, and having so much fun doing it.
And babe, you always talk about really leaning into those areas that you're
Yes.
uncomfortable,
So good.
right? So it's a lot of things that you really desire to do.
Yep.
And when you talk about love bombing yourself, this is that opportunity
Yeah.
to lean into it, even if it's uncomfortable, but you
Yeah.
can't get it off your mind.
Yes.
Finding ways, right? And a lot of times it comes from just being around different type of people. It's not just about you doing it yourself and saying, I'm going to get out of this place, because during a lot of those times, you're not aware,
Yes.
right? You're not aware of how you look. You're not aware of what you're saying a lot of times, how you're coming across. So leaning on the right type of people, of course, starting with God, but leaning on the people that you trust, people that have good intention for you, and making sure those things that you may have wanted to start sewing, or you may have wanted to start volunteering, things that you just have procrastinated over the years, leaning into them and just love bombing yourself with the things that you enjoy. You may have to write down schedules. You may have to change it up a little, but not just moving away from it, finding ways to do the things that's been on your heart to do and just enjoying them, having fun, right? Not overthinking. When you do those things, then that helps the healing process.
I love it. And a lot of times you're like, I don't know if I need healing. I mean, that's how I was. I didn't have the awareness of healing, but you still need healing, babe, because you keep repeating the same patterns. So if you keep attracting the same type of guy, even if, marriage,
true.
divorce, keep running into the same money problems, keep running into the same health problems, hormone issues, those are just clear signs, babe, that you're playing in a certain pattern that we got to break out of.
Yes.
Okay. And we have the tools for that. This is what we specialize in. In the Feminine Energy Academy, we help ladies with getting over loss, reinventing their life. We help with the hormone issues, the nervous system re-regulating, healing your love blocks, healing your money blocks, learning how to date again, even if you're older, even if you're a single mom like I was, and even turning your marriage around. Okay. We've seen so many marriages being healed. We've seen relationships been healed, and we've seen the wrong toxic relationships fall apart, and women finally having the tools and the strength to put themselves in a better situation for themselves. You need that extra love and care and the tools. We got you, girl. Okay. We'll leave the links below, and you can check that out. And if you have any comments or questions, drop them below. We love reading your girls' comments and questions, and we love you so much. And I just want to remind you, you are not always going to feel like this, babe.